Using our cell phones is probably one of the most popular ways to take photos. So today I'm going to give you 5 quick tips to help improve your cell phone photography. Let's check it out.
Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, 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 click and a pick it. Click, click, click.
All right, so the first thing is about taking the shot. So I'll turn my camera on here and I'll show you probably the most important tip out of these 5. And so most cameras will have a button to take the shot right in the middle here. They'll have this button here. And when you go to push it, your camera's moving every time, right? And so most cameras have an alternate button, and this happens to be the volume button. If I push the volume button, see how stable that is? It barely moves. And if I get more used to it, I can even control it more. So find the alternate shutter button on your phone and use it instead of using this, because every time you're taking your shot with this style button, you're moving your phone. And you can probably improve the quality of your photos probably by 75%. That one simple tip will improve your photography so much better, and you'll have better control over it, and you can do your shots with one hand. Click, 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 click. You don't need to use a two-handed method to take the shot. All right, so use that. So my second tip is to use a grid or an in-camera level. You want your photos to look level. And if you have to fix them in post, you can, but a lot of times you're going to have to crop out a lot of your image to get the image adjusted to get it level with the horizon. So I'll show you what this camera has as an option. It has an inboard stabilizer. So I'm going to go into the Pro option here, and it says Expert Mode. And if you look at it, it has an inboard leveler, and it turns yellow when it is completely level. And that's important because it'll save you a lot of time in correcting it in the post. Okay? So sometimes they have a grid, which is a bunch of boxes or squares or lines, and use those lines to make your shot level. All right, so hopefully that helped you. Okay, so this next one kind of gets me a little bit riled up. Don't abuse the photo filters that are in your camera as an overlay to make yourself look more attractive. Yes, you can use them to make yourself look cute. Yes, you can use them maybe to lighten up a little bit, but don't use them because you're unhappy with something, like maybe you have a little bit of acne and you blur out your whole face with this filter, and it makes you look worse than having some imperfections. And every time I see that, I just like, Argh! And people look like cartoon characters. They don't look natural. And I'll help you with the next tip of what to use to make yourself look good, to try to correct some of those things that you're not happy with. But by all means, quit abusing these photo filters. Your face starts to look like a mashed potato. There's no defining features because everything's kind of blah, 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 blah. It's all blurred in together. All right? And I know you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say, oh, this is so-and-so. And I know you probably have friends that are abusing these filters in that way, and that isn't what they're for. I think that they're a great tool, especially for creativity if you're trying to make something unique and different, and maybe you want to have fun or make yourself look cute, but there's a point where it's just too much. It's too much, and it doesn't make you attractive. All right, so let's figure out how to make you look attractive the proper way. Okay. So the right way to go about correcting your photos is to use professional software, not these gimmicky, quick overlays that are in your phone, the little phone filters. Okay, so there are 2 programs you can download for free. So there's really no reason why you can't do this, okay? And the first program is Adobe Photoshop Express. Now this is one of the most professional software editing programs used even for professionals, and I believe this is like an intro version, but these tools are super powerful, and this works for Android, iOS, and Windows, and the other one is pretty much Apple specific, and that's called Apple Photos. Now instead of using a full overlay to cover something, these programs give you the ability to fix small spots at a time with, usually it's like called a spot brush or a clone and stamp tool. And so if the skin looks good here, you can clone this skin tone and kind of bring it over some of the blemishes, and it will hide that. And then you will look natural, then you will look normal. You won't look like a mashed potato when you take and blur everything out and there's no defining lines. You don't want to look like a mashed potato. And I think just taking that one step will give you so much more power and creativity over your own photos. You'll probably start to enjoy the process. I will process through editing software probably 98% of my photos, because I can always tweak a little bit. Maybe I can get the horizon just a little better, or maybe I need to just crop out just something that's distracting in the edge of the photo. And if you do that, you will gradually make better and better photos. Okay? So download yourself a software application to put your photos into for editing. Okay? All right, and for the last tip, maybe this is probably the most important tip, is to clean your lens. Your lens and your camera have been through a lot in just one day. You've picked it up, you probably weren't careful where you touched it, you put it in your pocket, you pull it out, you check this, you check that, you did this, you did that. And the chances of having a fingerprint on the back of this or some lint from your pocket is pretty huge, right? You're gonna have something on there. So maybe carry some little Q-tips. And what I like to use is just a little spray of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. And I just spray the Q-tip and just kind of rub it around wet with one side, and then I come back on a follow wipe with the dry side. And that way you're sure to get a streak-free result. You could use toilet paper if you had to, but oftentimes the toilet tissues will have some kind of, what do they call that? They'll have a moisturizer in the cloth itself, and sometimes you'll start smearing things around and it'll look worse, and you're like, well, why doesn't this look good? I just thought I cleaned it. Well, because there's a moisturizer in that paper. All right, so clean the lens, check the lens, make sure it's clean, make sure there's not a lot of lint on it. Okay, that would probably be number one, I would say, because if your lens is blurry, then everything else is going to be blurry. Nothing will be sharp. It will just kind of be muted, and you can't fix that in post. Okay, you could try to sharpen it, but it's still it's not really going to work that way. All right, so if those tips helped you, throw me a like, consider subscribing, and let's grow together. Thank you.